Nobody is born as a member of a particular religion. Everybody in the world is born as an atheist. Whenever the creator wanted to say something to his people, he would always call someone in the stories. For example, shh, come, I choose you, Pikachu, now go and tell them one by one. When there is no concrete proof at all, no conclusion can be made.
What are you looking for when you say concrete proof?
Microphone, take it.
Is the existence of the creator supposed to be like this?
Perhaps he might have created the system of the universe and then died.
If you say he's dead, you leave the person who caused his death in the background. So prove the logic in that.
It has no logic either. Likewise, there are many different theories.
It was the logical inference that we've just talked about.
I say it is foolish to believe something by saying, is there a power behind it?
And to that I say it is common sense. Do you mind if I post this video on YouTube?
No.
What do? Do you study or work?
I'm a composer. I'm also a pianist.
What is your faith?
I have no faith. I'm an atheist, and there are a lot of misconceptions about atheism. According to most people, atheism is considered to be a belief where God doesn't exist and that there is no God. But actually, the correct belief of atheism is as follows. With regards to the existence or non-existence of something, if you think that something doesn't exist, you automatically deny its existence.
Were you a Muslim before? If you're a Muslim, what caused you to convert to atheism?
Nobody is born as a member of a religion. Everybody in the world is born as an atheist. Your culture leads you somewhere. While teaching, your parents say, look, my son, there is something like this. Look, our prophet. They kind of instill it in you by teaching it. My parents pushed me to read something, not to believe in something. Later, my research showed me that religious books were written by humans. After that came the issue of whether there's a creator or not. So, when I left my religion, I started to believe in deism and atheism. Was the world created or did it come into existence by itself? I don't see enough evidence to give the answer created to the question above. Not yet, of course. I'm a bit on the agnostic side, too. In other words, I don't know whether the Earth has a creator or not. This is the most suitable answer here. I don't know.
That's fine then. You're not very strict then. You're open to knowledge. Your opinion may change.
No one in the world can be so strict, even if they want to. Life won't allow it.
What if we discussed it? Would you say you can change your view? What if we talked about a proof, maybe a piece of evidence?
Of course.
Let's look at an example. Suppose that a man was born deaf, dumb, and blind. Suppose that he's not aware of any technology. If such a person was sent to factories in Europe, and in every factory he went to, he did all the operations, worked on them like a master and made all those technological products, would that be realistic? For example, he goes to a car factory, and in that factory, he manages to make a product from start to finish by controlling every detail meticulously. He then goes to a phone factory and works the phone factory too. He makes and produces all the products like a master in that factory tool. Then from there he goes to a different factory and produces all the products there like a master too. If we see something like that, we will need to look for a reason behind it. It's not possible for him to do all that on his own. Let's call whatever is behind him X. We say he did it together with X. Similarly, when we look at atomic particles, they are deaf, dumb, and blind, just like the example of the man. And when we look at living beings, plants, animals, and humans, they also have systems that work like factories. For example, look at the respiratory system. Look at the digestive system. Look at the excretory system. Let's think about all the books we studied at university. The human body has a system that works like a factory. As in the previous example, those atomic particles travel. No matter which factory they go to, though they are deaf, dumb, and blind, they can successfully work in all the factories one can think of. Those air particles can go to plants after working in the entire factory system, roots, xylem, etc. of the plant without confusing anything. They go to the animal factory after working nicely and properly in the animal factory, and without confusing anything, they go to the human factory, which is a totally different factory. They work in the human factory as well. For example, they can work in the eye. They go to the cells and can work there too. So I say this then. After talking about the deaf, dumb, and blind man working in the factory, we concluded there must be a different power behind him and called that power X. Similarly, after seeing these atoms and particles carrying out all these operations without confusing anything in the factories, we need to put an X behind them. There must be a different power, an entity, a creator behind the atom. Is that right?
No, because that's where evolution comes into play. How else does the transition from unicellular to multicellular happen then? Through evolution, of course, by learning over time. The ones that can't do it will leave. The ones that can do it will remain. That is the process of evolution. You can make an explanation for every issue you see. The atom is unconscious. In that respect, can there be a power behind it? Well, of course there can be. But can it evolve on its own without the power behind it? It can learn by itself. The unconscious being can become conscious. And that's exactly what evolving through time is. Evolving means passing a stage by owning what you didn't have before. It's like not being able to move those those fingers first and then being able to move them.
So, you say it happens through a process of evolution.
Through evolution, yes, it's a well-known fact that evolution does take place.
Okay, let's talk about it. I'm not opening up a new issue right now. I'm not judging on whether evolution exists or not, but instead, I'm going to say this. Rather than looking at the process, the factory system is still functioning. Right now, people, animals, plants, all of their factories are still working. I don't need to look at the evolutionary process right now. Because the air particles that I see and the atomic particles, do they come to these factories every day? They do. Blind, deaf, brainless, and even lifeless particles? Lifeless particles. Do we see these factories working right now? Let me leave a question here for you. What do you say to this? 350,000 people are born every single day. How did all these factories begin?
Look, I'll give you an evolutionary answer with the question how it happened. And you will give me a creationary answer. It didn't start happening today. In the past of something, there was a chronological order. So this building exists today. It didn't exist before.
But it is being built today.
What went into building it so that it stands in its current form?
But does it matter?
Yes, of course it does.
No. Do you know why? If this building is being built here right now, I still have to ask how it has been built. Atoms are blind, deaf, brainless, and lifeless. According to data, are atoms like that?
Yeah.
My point is that despite not having any of the 5 senses, they still carry out all the tasks and run each of the factories perfectly without any errors. Are they confined to a limited place, or do they go to other factories as well?
They go to other factories too.
So I ask, how can that be?
I'm thinking about the answer to how can that be. However, I believe that to say, is there a power behind it, is foolish.
Why is it foolish? Because I say that is common sense.
Brother, then I say there's a planet called Zygote behind the sun. It manages all of them.
But prove your logic then.
It has no logic either. There are such theories out there.
It was logical inference that we just talked about. At first I said blind, deaf, brainless, and lifeless. In fact, we didn't even say lifeless. That person was initially alive. The blind, deaf, and brainless data shows us that there must be another reason behind it. It was reasoning. We used logical reasoning.
You stated the following in one of those reasons. Could it be another divine power?
We called it X. This X has to have characteristics. It needs to see the factory to run it. Those who cannot see cannot work in that factory.
How do you know
it needs to hear? Because you have to see something in order to design it.
Maybe it installed the system and died. I say there is
If you say it is,
I will give you an example.
If you say it is dead, you leave the doer of the deed in the background. 3 people come to the world every second.
Okay, that's the system. The system continues now. You say someone still has to be running it, so that it will continue.
Do you know why he has to? Let me put it this way. It has to rule. It cannot be like deism. Because 350,000 people are born every day, billions of animals are born daily. If I have atoms that are now blind, deaf, and brainless, even lifeless, the one who constantly operates them has their knowledge in the background. He has the power to choose what he wants to do with them. He has the supreme power to intervene, I say. Even if I don't see it because I have not seen it. No, this is the proof. It is proof through reasoning.
Proof through reason. It is superstition. When there is no concrete proof whatsoever, it is not something that can be achieved by reasoning.
What do you want to see when you say concrete proof? For example,
microphone. Take it.
Is the existence of the creator supposed to be like this?
The existence of the creator? Of course. The camera you've used so far, the stand, the microphone, the t-shirt you're wearing. You can use them because you can hold everything in your hand and use them. The creator doesn't need anyone either. He can convey to people as much as he wants and whenever he wants. But when the creator wants to say something to his people, he always calls someone in the stories that I've seen so far. Shh, come. I choose you, Pikachu. Now go and tell them one by one. That's why it all turns into superstition.
But wouldn't this be unreasonable? Wouldn't it be irrational to look for the creator in a place that has been created? Now, using the logic, I don't believe what I don't see, you can never find the creator anyway.
Since you can't prove it, it will always be a superstition.
Why should it be a superstition? Why shouldn't there be a being beyond matter, in a different dimension, outside of matter? Why does this rule exist? That unless it is concrete, its reality cannot be proven. Why should our logic of proof be concrete? I say that I can make inferences with the eye based of reasoning. For example, I look at the Suleymaniye Mosque. Someone says, it is the work of architect Sinan. I say, prove it concretely. Well, just a minute. The architect Sinan is dead. When I look at the way the mosque has been constructed, I use my knowledge and observation and realize that even if I don't see a conscious person behind it, it is clear that it was made by architect Sinan. I see with the eye of my mind. Since atoms are incapable here too, it means that behind those who built those structures, like the one who built the Suleymaniye Mosque, the one who builds 350,000 human factories every day, even though I don't see him, he must be a supreme being.
I see. I think there is no problem in believing it by reasoning and saying there must be, but there is a great problem in resisting by saying I have reasoned. Look, it's true.
I'll say a logical conclusion. But if you say we'll never find it without concrete things, remember that just as a painter is not in the painting and the carpenter is not in the desk he makes, the Creator's being is not existent materially. And if us humans see him in this universe, it would not be befitting for God. I say that the important thing is the inference I make from here with the eye of reason.
The important thing is, I say, without the possibility of the eye of the mind and superstitions, it should be able to show itself easily if there is something. Thank you very much.
Hello brothers and sisters, and thank you for watching the video. If you want to take a look at more of our videos like this, you can check the playlists we created specifically for you on the right, or you can check out our latest videos on the left. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel so that we can reach and benefit more people. See you.